Plan today so you can do the things you've always dreamt about doing in retirement. Listen Sunday mornings at 8 to Coasting into Retirement with Gary Marriage of Nature Coast Financial Advisors.
Our firm offers insurance services.
The Ocala Golf Club, one of Ocala's premier golf courses, from its pristine 18-hole course layout to its amazing pro shop. Jason Linhart and the staff at Ocala Golf offer everything that you need for your golf outing. That's the Ocala Golf Club. Experience country club style golf at municipal prices. You won't go wrong with the Ocala Golf Club. Call them for a tee time today, 352-401-6917.
On the first and third Wednesday mornings each month at 9:05 a.m., Robert Colin with On Top of the World will be our guest as we learn all about the exciting lifestyle and new home choices available at Ocala's premier adult active community, On Top of the World. From time to time, Robert will bring guests, and you're sure to enjoy our little chats. After all, you deserve the world, and we bring it to you.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks. On a Thursday, Galen Unall from Life South joins us. He does every day. Brought to you by the good folks at Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center, located at 2700 Southwest 34th Street. They offer skilled nursing, physical, occupational, and speech therapy. If you have any questions how they're handling the COVID-19 pandemic, give them a call at 352-854-6262. Of course, Penn Flooring, family-owned and operated, serving Marion County for over 30-plus years. They owe every bit of their success their unrivaled customer service. They're knowledgeable in all types of flooring applications, both commercial and residential. Go see their showroom at 1201 Southwest 17th Street here in Ocala, or give them a call at 352-351-3420. And, of course, we'd like to thank JustShip.net. They've flipped the script on shipping. Before, you had to take your item, you had to package it up, box it up, then you had to take it to the post office or the UPS store, standing in line, wasting time, money. Instead, now you can go to JustShip.net. Make an appointment with them for a small pickup fee plus postage. They'll come take your item. They'll wrap it up. They'll box it up. They'll go stand in line at the UPS store or the post office, saving you time and money. And as we know, time is money, so they save you money on top of money. JustShipped.net. Galen joins us on his way. Is you on your way to Gainesville, Galen?
Yep.
You know, we got to thank you for the story yesterday about the automobile accident that had 200 blocked. We had an update of that, and of course the paper put the story out this morning. It was an extrication where a man had to be taken out of his car. They had to pop the doors off. You said the doors had been popped off. Had to take him out of the car. He is being treated at trauma at ORMC. He was trauma alerted, being treated for non-life-threatening situations, but he's in serious condition. But that was a serious traffic accident. You were right yesterday as you drove by it. You called it correctly. It was not your run-of-the-mill traffic accident.
No, it's pretty bad. I'm just glad the guy's all right.
Yeah, the guy's gonna be. It looks like he's going to be okay. So the Disney World. I don't know why I said the. Disney World followed suit with Universal Studios, and as of this morning, everyone that's fully vaccinated will not have to wear a mask anymore at Disney World. Publix has said that their employees now that are fully vaccinated don't have to wear a mask anymore. Walmart did that last week. And all this, even though the CDC has still said that but the CDC says they hadn't adjusted their guidelines yet, but they're going to make an announcement in the next week or so about an adjusted guideline. But we're starting to return to normalcy again. It looks like the Omicron variant has tamped down enough that we're starting to return back to normalcy when you see places like Disney, Universal, Publix, Walmart go and make these decisions for their employees and for their guests.
Well, and I think even the vaccine mandate will be done by, pretty quickly. I just think the whole thing is going to go away because I think businesses are like, at some point we have to return to business. And believe it or not, it's a real problem to hire people when you tell them, like at Lifestyle, all of our employees have to wear a mask, and because that's that's an FDA CDC statement saying if you're in the healthcare profession, you have to wear a mask, and we've had more. At least half of our applicants say, you know what, I'm not working at a place where I have to wear a mask all day. So from a hiring standpoint, it's a big deal. So I don't think it'll be around that much longer. And then after that, I think you will see some people who just like it, right? They feel comfortable and they can get away with it. And then businesses will have to decide whether or not they're going to allow people to wear masks.
Well, there's a new report out now that says the Omicron wave that assaulted the U.S. At the beginning of the winter also helped with its defense, immunity.
Of course it
And
did.
are you ready for this?
Of course it did.
According to the AP, according to this story on the AP, an estimated 3/4 of the U.S. now immune to Omicron.
Well, again, I want to be. Again, we've all said from the beginning, you cannot run away from a virus, right? There is no cure for COVID, people. I don't know. You have to face it. You hope that it doesn't kill you, right? Again, I'm not limiting the amount of lives that it was taken, but you can't run away from it. And especially with our kids, I mean, the percentage of kids dying from COVID, it's not even in the top 10 cause of death for children. It's, the average age of death for COVID is still like 80. So I really don't know what we're doing.
Well,
I don't know. I'm kind of over COVID.
According to this new thing, it says
I've been over it for 2 years.
according to this new scientific study, millions of individual Americans' immune systems now can recognize the virus and are primed to fight it off if they encounter Omicron or any other variant.
Of course.
So herd immunity seems to be
natural
taking
immunity.
place.
But do you remember when Fauci said natural immunity didn't exist with COVID?
Yes.
And my question was why? Because it's man-made, right?
Well, the body's an
again,
amazing thing that can adapt.
Of course it is. Of course it is. It's this engine that has thrived for depending, I guess, on when you believe the world started, 3,000 years or 100,000 years. And again, it's what it does. It's called the immunity system. It's pretty darn smart. I think we're looking at these at the CDC. I don't know if you saw the Project Veritas report that came out yesterday and 2 days ago and last night with a guy from the FDA. This is a money grab. The pharmaceutical companies, they made a vaccine. Congratulations. It was the mRNA was with some pretty incredible technology, and then the government seized on this crisis to make themselves bigger, and then the pharmaceutical companies are just feeding the machine, right? Well, it'll take decades before we find out how much each politician made off of COVID from the kickbacks they're getting from Pfizer and Moderna. And I don't know if anybody else noticed, but the CEO of Moderna sold 75% of his stock. Why? Why do that now? You know why? Because they realize that the vaccines are on their way out, and his stock has reached its peak point. And so he sold out while he could and became $1 billion richer. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah,
$1 billion.
$1 billion. So we were talking about Daniel Craig yesterday and James Bond. Well, 2 days ago, and James Bond. Daniel Craig made an appearance on the Late Show with Stephen Colbert last night, and Stephen Colbert wanted to know, he just received the Order of St. Michael and St. George given to him by Queen Elizabeth II. He got it on New Year's Eve. It's usually only given to diplomats and spies. That's why his character of James Bond received the award in the series. was bestowed upon the actor. However, the question Colbert wanted was, "What's the Queen like in private?" The actor said, "She said she's very funny. She even cracked a joke about me when the last joke he said, we're having our photograph taken, and she just went, oh no, he's the one that doesn't smile. He has no humor." So the Queen's cracking on James Bond.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's what the example of all politicians should be.
100%.
Stay hidden. Now, granted, she is the largest welfare recipient on the planet.
No.
Not denying that.
I don't know. I think she may be the second largest.
Who would be the largest?
Pope Francis.
Well, Pope Francis isn't a life term. It's not. His whole family too.
Well, yeah,
right.
Yeah, she does. Now, as far as family goes, they're the largest welfare recipient on the face of the planet.
Absolutely. And the Pope's only that for,
till he decides not to be.
Right. Whereas a queen, that's a life appointment.
Well, the Pope is too. The Pope's a life appointment too.
Right, but you get it. You don't get it at birth.
No, you don't get it at birth. Right, 100%.
Right. So, but that's what politicians should be done. They should just be seen very rarely. We don't need to hear from them. Just leave us alone. There are enough laws on the books to solve every problem we have, because most problems cannot be solved by the federal government, and therefore, let's return the power to the states where it belongs.
Well,
Can I get an amen?
Amen.
That is what conservatives. That's what it means to be a conservative.
Remember,
small government.
Remember,
federal government is way too big.
See, and I want the Republican Party to go back to being the party of small government, and I wanted to get out of the morality business. I just want it to be just in the fiscal, small government, not spend my money. Go back to doing infrastructure and military. That's it. I don't want you to do anything else.
No, there's again, infrastructure is a boondoggle. I could talk about infrastructure and how politicians get rich off of it for the next month. Infrastructure is a boondoggle. What I want, if you want to build a bridge, give me a bill to save or to repair that bridge. The federal DOT already has a massive budget to keep our roads and our bridges and our dams and all of that safe, right? When we pour money into an infrastructure bill, it's never earmarked for a certain project unless a politician has negotiated it in, right? It's just this clump of money that the politicians can just divvy it out to their constituents as they see fit. It's nothing more than a honeypot. And infrastructure has become this, everybody loves infrastructure. I hate it. I think it's absolutely. But I don't think the federal government's the person to solve it. Turn them over to the states. Federal system is dictated by the given to the states, right? The federal government doesn't pave a single road. You know that.
Yeah, the state DOTs do. Yeah, the state
right?
they give money to the states, and the state DOT does it.
And these grants, right, to do these things. It's a boondoggle, and everybody's grifting off of it. And it should go away and become deemed illegal. These omnibus was never, ever supposed to happen, right? That I can't stand infrastructure, and you should be stricken from the airwaves for the next 45 minutes for bringing it up, saying it's a good idea.
Well,
the federal government's job is to protect our borders. After that, I am not too sure there's anything else they're supposed to do.
Oh yeah, the military.
That's what I said. Protect our borders.
Okay.
Military is not supposed to be protecting my house. That's my local jurisdiction, right? That's it. Well, again. Right?
So
if you want to tax me for the military, we can have that conversation. But if you're going to tax me for Social Security and all these other things, that's a different issue.
We don't have enough time to talk about the Social Security and stuff like that. We just don't have enough time to do that. That's a whole different boondoggle. But I just want to return to where my problem with it is I just want to return to where the government it's not about morality. It's not about I just
I've never understood why would the government care
I know
who I marry.
Thank you.
And the government should have nothing to do with marriage. I've never understood that.
By the way, the federal government doesn't give me permission to marry. My marriage license to Susan was issued by the county of Marion.
Yeah,
it was not issued by the United States government. Right.
But that's the problem. It all goes back to taxes now. How the federal government can get as much money from you without you rebelling as possible.
It's all about taxes.
Taxes and power. Money is power.
I can't argue with you there. I saw this story.
Name one thing besides war that the federal government is good at. Are you there?
I'm just can't think of anything to answer to you there.
No, they're not good at anything.
I just can't. I mean,
spending money. I mean, positive, I guess I should say. They suck at just about everything.
I cannot argue your point there, sir. I
can't stand it.
Cannot argue your point. I saw this story out of Wichita, and
we could argue they're not very good at war.
Well, we could argue that.
So
they hadn't been very good at war since 1945. We could argue that. I saw this story out of Wichita, and I thought, why is this even possible? This is where sometimes justice gets just whacked. A Wichita mother will serve 16 years, 3 months in prison for murder.
I saw this.
She killed a man who allegedly beat her son with a baseball bat. District judge imposed a prison sentence after denying a request for probation, saying that there was no substantial and compelling basis to grant her leniency in the fatal shooting of 53-year-old David Letty. Police have said that she confronted Letty outside of his Wichita home after he attacked her 19-year-old son for being at his house. She left the local casino, drove around looking for her son, who was beat with a baseball bat. She pulled a revolver from her purse when she got there and shot Letty. He was, but her lawyer argued that Mr. Letty was an aggressor and a participant in the criminal conduct associated with the crime and conviction. And so, this woman confronts a man who just beat her son with a baseball bat. He's still got the baseball bat in his hand. He starts to walk towards her. She pulls her gun out, shoots the guy, and somehow she's going to prison.
Yeah, I saw this and I'm like, there's got to be something, some piece of evidence, something we're missing. Is there a prior conduct? Is there? Because what a terrible story. By all accounts, it sounds from what I've read, she was going over there to say what the heck happened, and shot him dead. Again, those are one of those tragedies that just built. She did
toss the gun. She did toss the gun away and try to hide the gun.
Yep.
And she did.
Help.
She did. She is a convicted felon who shouldn't have had the gun in the first place. And that's what the prosecutor's saying. The prosecutor's saying she's guilty of this because she shouldn't have. Kind of like if you get in a car accident and you don't have and your license is suspended, even if the accident wasn't your fault, you get the fault because you shouldn't have been on the road in the first place with a suspended license. That's what the prosecutor's saying here, is this is all on her because she's a convicted felon who shouldn't have had a gun in the first place.
Yep. Everything you just said is absolutely right.
Don't you have to use common sense here, though?
Well, again, what we don't know is we don't know what the judge had, right? I mean, there's, and again, if you prove them guilty, your priors matter.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that just matters. I don't know. I don't know, Tom. That one's a tough one. really is. Because I always, I think the judges, the large, let's say, not, like every other profession except for politicians, 98% of them do a really good job. This one, I just kind of scratch my head. I don't understand it. That's all. Just don't understand it.
I guess it's one of those tragedies where there is no right. There is no right here.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, no matter how you slice it, it comes out this guy died. Whether you think it was self-defense or not, I guess is the question, and the courts proved that it wasn't. Right?
Right.
It's a tough one.
It really
It's a tough one.
When I saw the story, I was like, wow, I don't know which side to come down on here, because it
No, it's an interesting story. It's one of those that'll be a Netflix special in 6 years, and you're like, oh, okay. I know, I'm serious. I
know.
That's the kind of thing that you can get wrapped up in. It's like the girl up in New England who talked her boyfriend into committing suicide.
Right.
When you hear that, you're like, how is that possible? And then you look at all the issues they had, and oh man, that's another one of those.
Yeah.
There's a lot of these crime stories that are fascinating.
I just watched that. Dateline on the girl from Massachusetts that convinced her. Boy, I just watched the Dateline on it like last week.
The Netflix special's fantastic.
Is it?
Oh yeah, they go into the courtroom. They play the actual recordings. It's really, really well done.
So you know where Pembroke Pines is?
I do.
Down in Broward County.
Sure, absolutely.
A lady called in a 911 call.
That's where some of the best football players in the world play.
A lady called in a 911 call Tuesday, said, hey, a garbage truck just came in the middle of our street and just emptied his whole garbage, just dumped it out right in the middle of the street. One of these big garbage trucks just dumped it out in the middle of the street. The police said, yes, we know, we're aware. She goes, what do you mean you're aware? You're okay with him dumping it? The police go, lady, the trash in his compactor was on fire. The fire department will arrive in a moment to put the trash out. The city's going to clean it up. So literally, the guy dumps his truck out in the middle of Pembroke Pines, the street in Pembroke Pines, because his trash was on fire. His truck was on fire. I think, she called 911 up. This Karen calls 911 all upset that he dumped his trash out.
Why wouldn't you? Well, no. Why wouldn't you? I think I would have done the same thing. You don't know if it's on fire.
Well, I'm looking at pictures of it, the video of it. There's flames in it and smoke coming out of it.
Yeah, but we don't know if it was burning when she called. I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. Trust me. Somebody comes in my neighborhood and dumps a load of trash. I'm handling it. I'm calling somebody.
I just think
I'm calling the city commissioners because they need to deny this apartment complex that's getting voted on tonight, I think.
Tonight's Thursday. City Council's Tuesdays.
That's right. I think it was voted on Tuesday. Yeah, I'm getting my dates all. I'm just happy to be here.
But I don't know. I think you go out, you look, and you see if it's on fire or something. You see why. You ask somebody, what the hell are you doing? Before you call 911 and demand somebody come out and.
Well, yeah. Again, I don't have a problem with it. You can just say whatever you want.
I mean, it was in Canary Bay. It was a gated community, so.
Right. I mean, what do you want her to do? That's what she was supposed to do. I don't have a problem with that. What would you do? I know, Tom, you're Mr. Fix-It.
I would go outside.
I would
go outside and say, hey, what the hell's going on? Because the truck didn't drive off.
The truck had already left.
No, the truck didn't drive off. He dumped his load and then pulled up to the street corner, parked, and got out.
That hurts my narrative a little bit.
Yeah, you go to the guy, you go, what the hell's going on?
What's happening?
What's happening? Now, if he goes, nothing, it's not any of your business, go back inside. Now you call 911. But if he goes, my trash is on fire, the fire department's on the way, then you don't. I just think you got to do a little more investigation before you just immediately call 911.
No, she may be stuck in her house and not able to get out. Giving her the benefit of the doubt. She called 911, right? Local government, they're supposed to fix everything, right? Government's supposed to solve all my problems.
Okay. She could have solved her own problem by going out and asking.
I completely agree, but she's used to the government solving everything for her. That's what the government.
Well, it is
wants.
Broward County.
Just call them.
It is Broward County. You may be 100% correct there.
You're never quite sure what's going on in Broward County.
You just never know what's going on in Broward County. Wasn't that the epicenter of the hanging chads?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Wasn't that the epicenter of the hanging chads?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
But and I don't know. I would have went and investigated. That's all. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Ask what the hell was going on. That's what I'd have said. Hey, Galen.
You're completely right.
Yeah.
Completely.
Oh, look, I'm right about something. That's amazing.
Well,
hey, Galen.
We can agree on Broward County.
Okay.
The rest is up in the air.
Where's the Bloodmobile today? Got about 20 seconds.
Hey, today. Yeah, hey, we're out at the Walmart, way out there on 200. So come see us there. Get out there, get the life, donate blood.
Galen, from Life South. Talk to you tomorrow.
Bye.
We'll be right back after this timeout. You're listening to Ocala Talks on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
The United States now believes Russia's claim that it's withdrawing troops near the Ukraine border are false and that Moscow, in fact, has increased its presence on the border by as many as 7,000 troops. Ned Price from the State Department lectern.
Russia relies on confusion. Russia relies on obfuscation. Russia relies on misinformation and disinformation to cover its tracks. We should all expect that, and we should all be ready for it.
A senior Israeli official stressed in a call with his Russian counterpart that if Russia invades Ukraine, Israel will need assistance from Moscow to get its 10,000 citizens and diplomats out. Federal Aviation Administration Steve Dixon announced he will step down from his role on March 31st. Steve was appointed by President Trump in 2019. 45,000 people work at the FAA. President Biden will be in Cleveland, Ohio today to tout the bipartisan infrastructure law. USA Radio News.
Water. It's essential to life, but it's also something that so many of us here in America take for granted. Imagine how different your life would be without access to clean water in your home. What if you had to walk to the nearest creek, stream, lake, or pond to get water? Suddenly, going to work and school wouldn't be an option because you and your children would have to spend your days collecting water. This is the day-to-day reality of most families living in the world's poorest countries. But what if I told you that you can change that reality for just pennies a day? Through our water projects, Food for the Poor is working to meet the need for water in 17 impoverished countries. But it won't happen without you. Incredibly, it only takes $15 to provide a child access to clean water for life. $15, decades and decades of access to water for a child. Give the life-changing gift of water now. Just text USA Radio to 91999. Text USA Radio, all one word, to 91999.
The John Durham investigation continues.
A former Democratic candidate for president, Tulsi Gabbard, said the recent findings from the John Durham.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. The National Peanut Buying Points Association were meeting this past week in Charleston, South Carolina. One of the speakers was Pat Calhoun. He's the CEO of Ag South Farm Credit and works in Georgia, Florida, and Alabama. He talked about the 5 C's of credit and what farmers and lenders may be facing. He said the fundamentals as a lender includes having character, conditions, the capital needs, the capacity to fund it, and collateral if needed. The changes of farm credit, he said, were that there are more players in the lending business now and with alternate delivery methods. And that's some of the changes that are happening in farm credit overall. He said consolidation continues and new demographics on the regulatory and political environment is also changing. He said that even with the changes, borrowers must follow the regular fundamentals. Concerning Ag South Farm Credit and others in the network, he said, farm credit system is strong, knowledgeable, cooperative, competitive, and available. He further said, just remember when you get your farm financing done, don't put all your eggs in one basket. That's from Pat Calhoun with Ag South Farm Credit.
This is my farm. And on it, I'm raising corn. I'm raising soybeans. And sometimes wheat. I'm raising chickens. And a few horses. I'm raising catfish and crappies down at the pond. But above all that, before everything else, I'm raising my kids.
You're a parent first, farmer second. Do all you can to make your farm safe for children. Visit cultivatesafety.org for help protecting the most important thing you'll ever raise.
For more on today's news, we invite you to log on to our website, southeastagnet.com. I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast Agnet.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Record high temperatures today. We'll have a breezy, very warm day with a mix of clouds and sunshine and a high of 83 to 87. Then becoming partly cloudy and mild this evening. Low tonight 65 to 69. Clouds and a little sunshine on Friday. High tomorrow 82 to 86. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
You know what you want to do in retirement, but do you know how to get there? Join Gary and Don Crawford of Pinnacle Retirement Advisors for Retirement with Pinnacle, Saturday mornings at 9 to get answers to your retirement planning questions. Plan today so you can do the things you've always dreamt about doing in retirement. Don't miss Retirement with Pinnacle with Gary and Don Crawford, Saturday mornings at 9. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
New arrivals and new savings are waiting for you at Blockers Furniture. With over 80,000 square feet of the best selection and best prices you can find on furniture, mattresses, home accents, accessories, and more. And with new trucks arriving weekly, Blockers has the best available in-stock selection. Unlike many other furniture companies that will have you waiting for months to get what you want or need, come see everything that Blockers has to offer. Blockers Furniture, 2402 Southwest College Road, next to Hobby Lobby.
This hour of Ocala Talks is brought to you in part by Blockers Furniture. Go see all their specials at blockersfurniture.com.
This is Ocala Talks with Tom Schmidt, bringing stories that are important to our community in and around Ocala. Plus, of course, a splash of sports as well. Now, here's your host, Tom.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks. On a Thursday, usually this is the third Thursday of the month, the VA clinic would be here. They're not here today, though. So they're brought to you by Bob Wines and Hires Baxley. So thanks to Bob Wines and Hires Baxley for their continued support of the Veterans News. Hank and Gary will be back next week with Veterans News from Vets Helping Vets. But this week was supposed to be the VA clinic, and they have not they were, you know, with the new clinic opening and everything, and they're getting kinks worked out and all. It's a little difficult time right now for them, so we'll get them going, get them coming back and going very soon. But and I just got news that the county commission meeting I just got word the county commission meeting had moved from Tuesday to Thursday, so they're having a county commission meeting today. So I don't think we're going to have the county commission on today. It'll be probably tomorrow before the county commission comes on. So, matter of fact, I'm in the middle of texting with Kathy Bryant right now about this very issue. So they'll come on tomorrow and give us an update on what happened at the county commission meeting that takes place today. You know, there's $3.3 billion. Sounds like a bunch of money, doesn't it? I mean, when you try to grasp that money, $3.3 billion sounds like a huge amount of money. And that's the difference that divides spending plans in the state legislature with the House and Senate. On a 102-14 vote, the House approved Wednesday its slightly slimmer $105.3 billion state budget proposal for the next year. The Senate is poised to advance its bulkier $108.6 billion plan today, setting the stage for negotiations The two sides will have to come to an agreement before the session scheduled March 11th closing. Because remember, it's the state of Florida, you got to have a balanced budget. And a $3.3 billion gap, like I said, sounds huge. But lawmakers seem to think not. They say when you view it as smaller differences scattered across scores of spending priorities, that it's a few $1 million here or there. The House does less for Florida's 2.9 school children and boasts per student spending by almost $323, a 4% increase compared to the roughly $352 increase. The Senate, both sides top an average of $8,000 per child for the first time. The House pushed to take $200 million in state funds away from 12 counties that required a school's mask ordinance last year, has emerged as a flashpoint. But when you think about the differences of $3.3 billion, it sounds like it's a lot, but because there's so many things that go into a state budget, you know, a couple million here, a couple million there, all of a sudden you make some compromises, and the $3.3 million gets closed, and everybody's happy. It shows you that compromise still works, and that's the point of this story for me. It shows you that compromise still works, something that I don't believe the politicians in Washington understand. Every year, the budget has to be passed in the House and in the Senate in Florida. Every year, a budget has to be passed in the House and the Senate in Washington, D.C. Every year, the state of Florida passes a budget that both the House and Senate are in lockstep with. They don't start out in lockstep, but they work and they come to a compromise and they get in lockstep. That doesn't happen in Washington. Doesn't happen at all in Washington. And when I say lockstep, it's because there's bipartisan. There's bipartisan support. When you vote in the House, 102 to 14, there's more than 14 Democrats in the House in Florida. It's a Republican-controlled legislature, but there's more than 14 Democrats in the House. So a bunch of Democrats voted for this budget that was approved through the House on Wednesday. So they reach across the aisle and work with each other in both chambers. That's something they forgot about in Washington. They don't do that in Washington. They don't reach across the aisle. They've drawn a line in the sand. And you're vilified if you cross that line. Ask Joe Manchin. The West Virginia senator has been vilified for siding at times with his Republican counterparts in issues that the Democratic Party wants him to side with them. He is a Democrat from West Virginia. But he's a pragmatist. He's pragmatic. So he uses common sense. If he doesn't agree with something, he votes against it, regardless of what his party wants him to do. He understands compromise. He understands reaching across the aisle. Very few people in Washington understand that. It happens every year in Florida. Happens every year in Georgia. Georgia, a state that is, there are battle lines drawn between the Democrats and the Republicans, almost as bad as in Washington at times. But when the legislature goes into session, they work through it, come up with a balanced budget, and they move forward. They get stuff done in Atlanta. They get stuff done in, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where the capital is. They get stuff done in Austin, Texas, where the capital is. Somebody's calling me while I'm live on the air. Never fails. They get stuff done. Washington doesn't get stuff done. They saber rattle and tell you how bad the other set is, the other guys are. But Galen, said earlier this morning that the federal government needs to get out of it and let the state governments be in control. Well, the state governments seem to know what they're doing. every year, balanced budgets at the state governments. Every year, legislation is passed through state governments in large amounts. That hadn't happened in Washington in a very long time. I mean, they keep having to do spending limits and all to keep the government operating because they can't come up with a budget that they'll agree on. Your job is to go up there and legislate. Your job is to go up there and, come up with budgets and pass budgets. But they don't do that. The self-interest of the individuals outweighs what their job description is in their minds. And so they don't care about what their job description is. If it goes against their self-interest that makes that makes them money, they're not going to do it. Thank goodness that doesn't happen at the state level here in Florida. Kudos to the legislature, even though they're $3.3 billion apart in the House and Senate. They'll get it done. They'll get it done. And by the way, both of their budgets are below what Governor DeSantis proposed in his spending plan. So they'll get it done in Florida, in Tallahassee. They'll get it done. I have no faith they'll get anything done in Washington. We'll take a break. We'll be right back after this timeout. You're listening to Ocala Talks, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. This is WOCA, The Source.
Well, now, during this year's Camellia Show Spectacular is a great time to see the big changes in store for you at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens. Come see the new display areas, hundreds of new and exciting plants, color like you've never seen before because it's Camellia time. And while you're there, check out a few of this week's deals. A truckload citrus sale with citrus bushes as low as $24.99. Those super popular smaller cocktail trees, just $69.99. Get inflation fighters like spring veggies, the jumbo 4-pack, just $4.99. 3 bags of quality red mulch, just $12. And of course, ever-blooming red ruffle azaleas, still at 2019 prices, just $3.99 each. But hurry, supplies are limited. It's now, today, at Bob Wine's Camellia Garden on Southeast 38th Street in Ocala, daily till 4. Saturdays till 3 in the same blooming place for 70 consecutive years. We'll see you there.
Here's the latest from the College of Central Florida. On Tuesday, February 22nd at 8:35 a.m., Dr. Raphael Robinson will tell us about Preview Night. That's coming up at CF Ocala's campus. Tune in to find out about the programs, services, and clubs that will be on hand to answer all your questions about enrolling at CF. So make sure to join Ocala Talks at 8:35 on February 22nd.
Howdy, folks. RL here for Dairy Queen again to tell you about what's hot and what's not. Dairy Queen has some of the best char-grilled chicken breasts on earth, as well as their chicken breast salad. And the burgers are exceptional, cooked on a real grill for the best flavor and less fat. And for dessert, blizzards are unequaled. Personally, banana split is my all-time favorite. Dairy Queen Silver Springs, where we always treat you like kings and queens.
Dad's service to our country is something we're so proud of. He made a difference and set a great example. Now it's our turn to honor the sacrifices he made for our family and this country. As veterans